Hi, everybody. I hope you're all well. It rained in the early hours of the morning, and thus today is rather cold, although it has become rather bright outside after the clouds cleared. But bright does not mean warm. Anyway, in 2 days, Harry will attend the Well Child Awards, and I see that event will be streamed live on Hello Magazine's homepage. I am rather curious to see him, and let me explain why. My daughters are 37 and 31, so basically similar to Harry in age, particularly the older one. So Harry, whether he likes to acknowledge it or not, grew up in front of our eyes, and we likely saw more of Harry than we saw of, say, for example, our nieces and nephews. I know in my case it is definitely the case, as I have only once seen my sister's daughter, who is now about 10 or 11, and my brother's sons I saw a bit more of, particularly the older one, who's also my younger daughter's age. And that was only when he was younger because we happened to live closer to one another. But I can guarantee you that I still saw more of Harry when in magazines and newspapers than I saw of these children. So it is fair to say that someone like me would be more likely to recognize Harry in the street than I would be to recognize my sister's daughter or my brother's son. Sad but true. In a way, because of distance and work and families splitting apart due to immigration, etc., this would be applicable to a lot of people. People living in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and even the United States, where Diana was greatly admired, would have sometimes seen photographs of Harry weekly or monthly, depending on your demographic. Along with the photographs, we also read the stories. So, although you cannot believe everything you read, I think between the lines we got an idea of who Harry was. Yes, he was not the brightest button on the jersey academically, and would or could never have been a lawyer or doctor or scientist, but he was good at sport, tall, well built, athletic, and he was the jovial sort. And that is why everyone liked him, and why he was also forgiven for his transgressions. Yes, I agree that the palace must have done a lot to create a positive image of Harry, but he was a loose cannon, and they were not in control of him all the time. So we did get glimpses of the real Harry from time to time. The fun Harry, the sulking Harry, the athletic Harry, sad Harry, happy Harry, angry Harry, aggressive Harry, lovable Harry. We saw it all, although we did not always know the backstory to these actions and emotions. We still cared about Harry, even made excuses for Harry, and forgave him his transgressions. This is similar to not teaching babies not to swear or teaching babies to swear because it may be funny when they are small, but as they grow up, it becomes less and less funny. With Harry, it was exactly the same thing. His behavior, his bad behavior, was funny until it wasn't anymore. But it's not his good or bad behavior I want to talk about today, but his physical appearance and body language, as it is that, exactly that, which concerns me. And no, I'm not making excuses for him at all. Some of Harry's positive attributes, which I have already mentioned, is being a jovial person who connects with people and the fact that he was athletic, well built, etc. However, since leaving for California, I have actually seen him deteriorate, and I do not think that it is my imagination, and if it is, then please tell me so. The first time I really noticed a horrible change in Harry's demeanor was during the Mandela Day celebrations at the United Nations offices where Harry gave a speech. I don't care whether people tell me that Harry never liked public speaking, blah, blah, blah. Before that day, Harry likely gave 100 or even more speeches already. Yes, it is possible that one could still feel nervous even after 500 or 1,000 or more speeches. But for him to look and act the way he did that day was not Prince Harry, the bloke we knew. First, he looked like he was going to faint in anticipation. He looked very stressed, to the point where his scalp started to sweat. Once on the podium, he became almost aggressive. And once off the podium, it took a while for him to come down from that actual high. By the time they left the building, Harry was depleted and looked tired and defeated. Something was very wrong, or should I rather say off, with him that day. But it wasn't the first or the last time I saw his body language, his reactions being out of sync. On numerous occasions since Mandela Day, his body language was just a bit off. His facial expressions looked, however, way off on even more occasions. Now, I just want to interject and interrupt myself here. We have all seen Harry acting rather inappropriately with particularly other men. In my very humble opinion, it does not matter whether you are gay or straight. You do not tweak another person's nipples. And I would even go so far as to say that you do not rest your hand on someone's leg, whether you're gay or straight or male or female, unless you know them very well and are very comfortable or familiar with the other person. Yet it appears that Harry was never taught this kind of appropriate behavior, which, as he was a royal in particular, I do not believe. I believe he was taught manners and appropriate behavior since the time he could possibly walk or talk. Yes, it appears Harry was not taught about personal space, yet we know he must have been. So why, oh why is Harry acting this way? And it certainly appears that whatever is the matter with Harry, it is getting worse. I was recently told that Harry has put in the effort to cut on his alcohol consumption in a bid to look healthier and to live healthier. It is assumed by the person who told me that it has something to do with the preparations for the polo match in Singapore and maybe Nacho's influence. Because, as far as anyone knows, Nacho is living a mainly healthy lifestyle. But it appears as if, now please remember, this is gossip and assumption. Anyway, it appears as if Harry has not given up on the weed. Yep, Nacho is apparently not a weed killer. Or then the occasional mushroom consumption. It is said that the cannabis addiction is real, and participation or consumption of the green stuff is happening daily, with the fungi and other hallucinogenic material being occasional, but as in occasional to regular. I'm also told that Harry had been cautioned about his health, mental and physical, by a number of friends who know him even better than we do, far better. Allegedly, he had also been cautioned by the likes of colleagues at BetterUp, but Harry, allegedly, firmly believes that the cannabis is keeping his depression at bay, and the other stuff, like the fungi, is, and I'm quoting, clearing his head and giving him better insight. Allegedly, his advocacy of these substances is open and direct, like we saw to an extent during his interview with Gabor Mate. Sorry guys, I'm not calling that quack doctor. So if you are a fan of his, I'm sorry, I do not agree with about a quarter of his theories. And in my opinion, in the medical field, a margin of error of 25% is way too high. Well, like I said before, it is unfortunate that I have seen and experienced more than maybe I should have in my lifetime. But as recently as only a few days ago, I saw body language, facial expressions, and actions by Harry, which is a little too familiar. Things I have seen before. Now, look, it is normal to be excited sometimes, however. It is not normal to make fists and stomp your feet in your seat. Yes, maybe if you are 5 or 6, but not when you're 39 in a few days. The hand gestures, the way his mouth works when he talks. Look, I'm not a doctor, but I know a few. And although I have not asked the opinion of every doctor I know, I have asked 2 of them, and they agree with me that it certainly appears as if there is something wrong with Harry. Both agree that he looks healthier than he has in a long time, but his actions, his awkwardness, his immaturity in the way he conducts himself, the way he holds and moves his body, does not look good. Of course, we and they do not know whether he was under the influence of something at the time which resulted in this display, and that these red flags are temporary, or whether the damage is done already and the childish display is of a more permanent nature and might even get worse in the future. We don't know, and no diagnosis can be made without a thorough medical consultation. My one friend who is in the medical field said what I have been saying for a while though, and this time I did not even mention it myself. And this time I did not even mention it myself. She said Harry needs a brain scan and full blood work done before treating him with any form of psychiatry. So hopefully a friend like Nacho will convince him to have it done, because to see a grown man act like a child is embarrassing. Okay, guys, I'm off on another mission for now. I'll be back soon. So until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.